Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Henry, filming in the backyard today. Today I'm going to talk about why I don't have a winch and why do I use what I use. So before we get into it, years and years ago, decades ago, when I was a young man, I had two lifted trucks and I used to do a lot of off-roading, and I had Warren winches on both of them, and I used it often. We used to off-road in what is now, I guess it's Burke Mountain in Coquitlam. It's now all developed houses and then all that, but back then there was no houses, and we used to off-road, rock crawl, all that stuff, and always had a winch. However, I now have a 1-ton diesel with the Herd bumper on it, and I don't have a winch for it because Herd bumper that I bought, they came in two versions, one that's capable of holding a winch and one doesn't, and there's no and I just ended up with the one that couldn't hold a winch because I never thought about it. And the type of driving I do now, I don't use a winch, but I still needed to have something just to give me a bit of a bump and to pull me out of a hole if necessary. Not rock crawl, but if I'm just kind of stuck in a little slippery position. So a buddy of mine actually said, oh, I should think about a turfer, and I didn't know what a turfer is. So as it turned out, turfer is a name brand for a very specific cable puller. And you know guys, you know how facial tissue, everybody just says Kleenex, can you hand me a Kleenex, but it's actually the brand name. So turfer is a brand name for a cable puller, and that's what I have. So I have right here, this is a cable puller. It's actually made by Jet. I bought it off Amazon, paid my own money for it, and but I'm just calling it turfer because that's like a common term. Typically turfer, which is a straight cable puller, they come in three different lengths for cables. One is 33 feet or 10 meters, 66 and 99 feet. I actually wanted the 33 feet because it's shorter, lighter, and easier to handle. But the cable that only comes with the Jet cable puller is it's a 66, so it's heavy as hell and it's long. It's really unmanageable sometimes, but it's just what I have. The reason that I use a cable puller here is because not only can I carry it with me when I'm off-road, when I'm driving on forestry service roads, should I be kind of stuck in a slippery position, I just need a little bump just to get me out of that hole. And but I can also use it in my yard. I have a 1/4 acre here, and I am unable to get there's no driveway or road access into my yard, and so anytime I need something pulled out, I wish I had a winch, but I don't, so I use a cable puller. So today I've used the turfer many times in my yard already. I've pulled out probably, like, I don't know, half a dozen trees out from the stump, and I'm going to set one up today and show you guys how I do it. So this is the cable puller or turfer, and these ratchets up here, you put your posts or your pole, that's these guys here, you put it up here, and one makes the cable go one way, one makes the cable go the other way to release it. If you're lowering something down a slope versus pulling it up. There's the cable. I'll set it all up for you guys, and there's my basically what would be a standard winching kit for most people. Shackles, soft shackle. This is a 150 feet or something thereof of winch cable, synthetic winch cable, which I need to use for if I'm doing a 3-to-1, which is what I'm doing today. And there is my tree savers and winch straps and so on. Let me set things up and I'll bring you back. So this little site right here, I'm actually building a little dive shed so I can store my dive gear, and because I'm just taking up too much room in the garage, so I'm going to build a shed here for my dive gear as well as some of the things that I've collected, and actually kind of use it as a filming set. There's a couple of stump tree things that are in the way, so I got to pull these out, I got to pull this out, and I pull this out, and I'm gonna pull that out for shits and giggles. So that's and then I gotta level this whole thing out because this is where the shed's gonna go, and this thing as well too. It's all gotta go. To do a 3-to-1, I'm gonna anchor off that tree over there, that giant stump. I'm going to anchor off one of the trees in there on the other side of the fence. That's actually still my property, but that's just where the fence is. And then hook up to this here. So basically it's exactly the same as winching out a vehicle, except I am winching out a tree stump or trees or bushes. Okay, so I got my winch cable all set up, or a winch extension cable all set up. So let's pretend that's the truck that I'm trying to pull out of the ditch or whatever. But in this case here, I'm pulling a stump. So that winch extension runs all the way over to here to a shackle off of this tree here. That's that one. Runs back to the big stump, and then it terminates right here. Okay, so this is where I got to hook up my my turfer, which comes off here and is going to go towards this pole here. So this is where I'm pulling from, and I'm trying to pull that stump out of the ground. Basically, I do this for probably 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. It's a lot of work, but it's better than trying to dig that thing out, which is a pain in the ass. You can probably see all this cable start to tension, right? It's easier than digging that thing out, and I can't get a vehicle in here with the winch into my yard. So look at that monster taproot, that whole thing. We dragged it right out. Graham just cut it off. That's my neighbor Graham.
Hey.
And,
hey, YouTube.
Yeah, we pulled that thing straight out. That was amazing.
Awesome.
Whatever that bush is. What do you think that bush is? Is that some kind of berry?
Did we say huckleberry?
Huckleberry, yeah. I think there's a squirrel that can move that tree. Whoops, didn't realize my battery ran out. So pull that last, that would have been the old broadleaf maple, that stump right there. Pull that out, and then I pulled out, there was a huckleberry bush, which my neighbor took to replant in his yard, and as well as, I want to say it's a volunteer chestnut that I pulled out as well too. Check out those big stumps that I pulled out right here. That's these guys right here, all of that. So this whole area is now free of brush and stumps and all that stuff. So I have to actually level it out a little bit, kind of bring it down about the same level as that concrete pad over there. The turfer, the cable puller, comes in really handy for my backyard. It's a lot of physical work, man. Like, I'm beat. That was a lot of work, whole afternoon worth. I've pulled out a ton of stuff in here previously before. I helped my neighbor out, helped my brother-in-law out on his property over on Hornby Island, pulled out a stump over there. Same thing, I just used the cable puller and just and pulled it out. Bit of sweat, bit of elbow grease, but get her done. That's all right. Okay, thanks so much for my Patreon supporters. We'll see you guys in the next video.